everybody. Welcome to the Vegan Stew. I'm your host for this evening, Kimberly from Did You Bring the Hummus? Thank you to Revolution Gelato, the sponsor for this week's talks. Prize packs for this month's contest have been graciously donated by Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, Follow Your Heart, Cinnaholic, Orgain, Terra Seed, and Revolution Gelato. We invite our viewers to enter the monthly contest at virtualvegfest.com and click on contest tabs for details. Entering is super easy just by liking and or subscribing to our social media and the Virtual VegFest YouTube channel. You're entered to win one of 7 prize packs. So tonight we are talking about body shaming. I'm going to bring everyone in. So first, our fearless leader, Helene, from Triangle Veg Fest and Virtual Veg Fest Live. Hi, Helene.
Yeah.
And Sangeeta from Tilted Planet.
Hello.
We've got Angela Yvonne from Vegan Pop Eats. Marla Rose from Vegan Street. And Laura Ball from Plant Powered Studios. Welcome, ladies. So awesome to be back here with you this week. I am super excited about all the things we're going to talk about, which is kind of a weird thing to say, right? Because body shaming isn't exactly a really positive, fun thing to have a conversation about. But it's been a huge part of my life. I've been fat for most of my life, so I'll have a lot to say. But before we get into that, I'm going to leave you a little cliffhanger. I'm going to pass it over to Marla and Angela Yvonne, who will share our current events for this evening first. Take it away, ladies.
Well, I am so excited. Hi, ladies. How are we doing tonight?
Hi, Angela Yvonne.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela. Well, I don't know if everyone watched the Met, but we had an exciting event go on during the Met. Billie Eilish had partnered up with the fashion house, Oscar de la Renta. And in order for her to wear one of their creations, she got them to agree to no longer use fur in their future designs. And that was a huge win because Oscar de la Renta, for the longest, he stood 10 toes down because he wasn't going to stop selling fur. But even his creative directors wanted him to stop, wanted the brand to stop using fur. But I think that was super exciting. And I thought that was just really a huge coup. Vegans won, carnivore 0.
Yay!
Woo!
Woo! That's
So what
amazing.
you got, Marla?
Well, I was going to say, I think that the food was plant-based too, from what I
Yes,
heard.
it was.
Yeah, so entirely vegan. Yeah, and that's isn't that an Anna Wintour event?
Yes, Anna Wintour.
Right.
And the proceeds go towards the charity that Vogue has, or whatever case be. I forgot what the name of it is. But the tickets, I think, were $35,000 a ticket.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to save up a little bit before.
You might not have to save up. The Vegan View might be,
right.
You might be invited.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just it was wild to see all that, and pretty impressive how far things have moved, in a good direction.
Yes.
And one of the news items that we reported on this week or maybe it was last week, for Vegan Street. It was Monday. What's today? Anyway, or Tuesday, yeah.
It's Wednesday.
As if my brain weren't bad enough at this sort of thing before COVID.
At least you have an excuse now, Marla.
You could have told me any day of the week, and I would have been like, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's Monday. Anyway, one of the things that we reported on Tuesday is a news story that is about the long-term consequences of the keto diet. I think most people are probably aware, but for those who aren't, the keto diet is low carbohydrate, but also really emphasizes high protein, especially in the form of animal flesh, eggs, I'm not sure where they stand on dairy. A lot of those diets are anti-dairy, but it's a very high protein, high fat diet. Anyway, a I think it's called mega analysis of I think it's over 100 studies was published in Frontiers in Nutrition. This is 100 peer-reviewed studies on the keto diet, and this was published in, like I said, the journal Frontiers in Nutrition, and it's basically finding that while there may be some short-term weight loss with a keto diet, as there are with almost every time you change up your diet a bit, there are some tremendous long-term consequences from heart disease, duh, high cholesterol, double duh, kidney failure, diabetes, perhaps Alzheimer's disease, certain cancers. So this shouldn't surprise anyone who really follows what these diets do to the body. But it's just all to suffice it to say the short-term weight loss is not significant to begin with, and then you may really be endangering your future health, if not even far future, like near future, and probably your metabolism as well. So anyway, I thought that was, that these diets, these high protein diets have been around in a million iterations, really since the 19th century, in just all these different new names, new bells and whistles, new things that supposedly differentiate one from the other, but they're all basically cut from the same cloth, and none of them are at all good for our bodies, and of course, utterly cruel and unsustainable. So let's hope that, people pay attention. So that's what I got on that. Any thoughts on that? Yeah.
We're gonna fight you, Angela Yvonne.
So,
I put my utensil up first.
Clean her utensil up first.
It's really interesting to talk. It's really interesting to talk about the keto diet, whether you're vegan or not doing it. But people who are on it will swear by it because they've lost like all this weight,
Right.
and even like their numbers could change because with weight loss, your numbers are going to obviously get better,
Right.
but
the thing is, like, when you stop eating sugary desserts, it's going to be a positive generally, but then when you replace that with all this other stuff,
oh, it's absolutely horrendous. And the thing about any type of fad diet, and that does not include veganism, any type of fad diet is that at some point you come off of that fad diet, and if you don't understand how to eat, or your psychological part of you for eating isn't adjusted or healthy, you just go right back. And you can't go right back to where you were, because that puts you right back to where you started from, which is probably a place that you didn't want to be in the first place.
Right.
And then you're probably like worse off health-wise.
Right.
That's what drives me nuts about fad diets, is that you're never teaching people how to do stuff
in a sustainable long-term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Noom, right, Marla?
Mhm.
So
right.
Psychological part of this.
I also do feel like, if we are concerned about our health, one of the worst, known worst health outcomes is to go up and down a lot in your weight. It's known to be very hard on your body. So because these are not meant to be sustainable, well, maybe they are meant to be, but nobody sustains them. The long-term health consequences that way too are dramatic,
And everyone just like, talk to your doctor, please. We are not health professionals.
Right.
You have any questions about your health, your diet, what you eat, You need to talk to your
Oh,
doctor.
yes, that's true. Sorry.
Not Facebook doctors, your actual MD
Right.
doctor.
I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on Facebook.
Angela, you next,
yeah.
and then Laura had put up.
Well, what I wanted to say is that I used to have a manager who, and they've had different names for this particular diet, where he would consume like huge plates of flesh with cheese poured over it, but he wouldn't eat bread, or he wouldn't eat like he wouldn't have candy or something like that. And just the thought of the amount of meat and cheese that they would consume. And then if you look on YouTube, that's one of the hottest diets right now, because it hits it so quickly and it hits it so fast. So I'm shocked that it's still going on,
Right.
but everyone wants a quick fix to just certain things. So I think that's why it keeps on reinventing itself, because everyone is, they'll find a way that works for their body, and then they'll get on the mountain and ask for the disciples to come through, and then it's over.
And there are a lot of people trying to make money, and there are, a lot of people who are desperate to lose weight, or, I mean, it's just like, it's this, cyclical. I mean, just it's not cyclical, it's unending.
Yeah, losing weight takes time. It's not a somebody woke up and lost 30 pounds in a week. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy. And that effort and energy doesn't stop when you get to the goal weight that you want to be at. You then have to sustain that by doing exercise and eating well and eating healthy. It's an ongoing to like the day that you stop eating and you die. And most people aren't willing to do that.
That's Helene's pep talk for the night.
Laura, you had wanted to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to say that in my experience, whether it was Atkins or, keto, what I find is that most people use this as an excuse to continue to eat badly.
Right.
Like I remember one of my girlfriends, Amber Lynn, we worked together, and she came, back from lunch with this sack of McDonald's. And I'm like, I thought you were on keto, and she's like, oh, no, I am. And then she takes out this burger that has 4 patties inside of it. And I'm like, what in the clogged arteries? Like, how is that a diet? You know what I mean? And so it's like, guys, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And it's the same thing when you go to a mental health professional. Depression medication, more times than not, won't work without therapy. You have to exercise, you have to eat right, and you have to change the way that you're living your life in a positive fashion. And nothing's a quick fix, like the right way typically is not the easy way. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's true. That's very true.
So I want to say thanks to Dana, because she said wishing you peace and an easy fast. And I'm pretty sure that is referring to, for us Jews, Yom Kippur. So yeah, so thank you for that. I don't fast. I don't fast, but your Happy New Year. That's the easy one.
Yeah. So let's all not do the keto diet. Can we maintain that for the next week?
Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board to not eating like a plate of meat with like and cheese on it. It sounds horrific.
And there is one.
Oh, and they also add like lettuce for the little.
Or cucumbers. Cucumbers are a big one too.
For a little color.
Yeah, iceberg lettuce. So that just sends it out the window.
There's another one that they're all trying to kind of outdo each other with how extreme they are or how accessible they are. But there's another one where it's all meat all the time. There's not even anything but meat. So I can't imagine what their visits to the bathroom are like, and that's all I'll say on that subject. So I would move on from there.
Sangeeta?
Yeah, they probably have a library in their bathroom.
Well, there was that article that I sent to Stephen that he couldn't read, but it's about how I think it said vegan men fart more, or vegan people, probably not men, but I think it said men, that men who are vegan like flatulate fart, whatever you want to do it.
But it has to do with
they shoot.
for positive reasons about the microbiome or something.
Yep.
I didn't read it because it doesn't involve me. So why would I?
It was just so funny. I was like, because eating more vegan food, suddenly like he's like, oh gosh, like I have gas like all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens.
Oh my God.
Hi, Diane.
But then you get used to it. Like if you put ginger in your cooking, the beans don't bother you that much, and then your body get used to it.
That sounds like a great plan. I think I'll make some beans.
With ginger.
So I hear we're going to talk about Lizzo.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Well, that's Angela Yvonne. That's all you.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about how Lizzo is good as hell.
Well, Lizzo has been in the news about her issue with body shaming. She just recently converted to coming over to the green side, and she has just been getting like slack because she is a plus size woman, and she's experiencing grief from trolls that are that's causing issues with her mental health and things of that nature. And we're going to talk about how body shaming affects us, good or bad, and thoughts about Lizzo talking about being body shamed. And I'll go in the middle.
Thank you, Angela Yvonne. So we chose this topic because it is timely and it's important. And as Marla pointed out, toxic diet culture is alive and well. Keto diet being a thing. Why is that a thing? Because people are so desperate to lose weight. Why are they so desperate to lose weight? It's because they feel like crap emotionally. Some people want to lose weight because, their joints hurt, or it's hard to get out of bed. They're tired all the time. That makes sense. But so many people are desperate and will do anything to drop weight so that they will be accepted by the community at large. And I mentioned at the start of the show that I've been fat, and I'm specific to use that word because it's important, because fat inclusivity needs to be a thing. There are new labels if you want to use them, so people understand how you view yourself, and they're from small fat to mid fat, large fat, super fat, and infinity fat. And I fall somewhere in between a small fat and a large fat, if we want to get into those labels. And for so long, I've spent years feeling inadequate, incapable, unlovable, unworthy because of my size. And it's not because I thought what I look like was gross or offensive. It's because of what the world has told me about what I look like is offensive to them. And it's what Lizzo's hearing. And there are fat activists, and I've got to pull up their Instagrams and I'll put them in the chat so you can follow them. But Lizzo did get crapped all over for the way that she looked. How dare she? This extremely talented woman. She plays the flute. She's like classically trained in like a zillion things, right? And she's beautiful and super smart and amazing. And none of that mattered because she had the nerve to come out on stage not being super thin. How dare she?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sangeeta. What do you got?
Yeah. So you alluded to that internalized body shaming that we get from the society, and we internalize it. And as far as weight is concerned, I have to say this, that in your life, you can have many goals, but the poorest of poorest goal, in my opinion, is to lose weight. because think about it, like you want to be happy, that's a good goal. Or you want to eradicate maybe poverty, that's a good goal. You want to invent something, that's fine. You want to raise your children, raise your family, these are goals. But what kind of a goal is to lose weight? You can lose weight if you get really, really sick. You can lose weight very quickly that way. And that kind of a goal is setting yourself up for a failure, because sooner or later you will likely gain some of that anyways, some of that what you have lost. So in my opinion, you should, the approach that I take is, I want to be healthy, I want my body to support my dreams, and weight loss or maintaining certain weight should be a result of a good lifestyle as opposed to the goal in itself.
It's really interesting. But for those people that are goal oriented, that need that carrot, that need that to get somewhere, it's a little easier to say, I want to reach this number, or I want to get to a realistic one, right? My goal is to lose 10 pounds. Okay, let me work towards losing 10 pounds. Because then at those 10 pounds, I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Now where do I want to go with what I want to do? And by doing that, by eating healthier, by exercising, by incorporating those things into your lifestyle. As someone that lost 30 pounds, but got there like a little over 30 pounds and then gained some of it back over the last few months. I started eating gluten again. I ate a lot of donuts. I ate a lot of cookies. I ate like crap. And I was like, I stopped. I said, no more. Because one, it's not okay to eat like that all the time. And we're traveling a lot, we're on the road. It's a lot harder, not home, my own house. But even if once things open back up, I kind of made up for being in the house for a year. And it was fun and it's great and food's amazing and I love it. I want to eat it, but I also don't want it on my body. But one thing that I didn't do, even though I gained the weight back, because I probably would have gained all of it back, is I haven't stopped exercising daily. Every single day. I still burn my calories. I stopped burning as much. I stopped doing as many things as I was doing. And I just started putting those back in because I want my goals. I want to reach them. I want to be healthy. I know what those are. I know what those are realistically for me. And for some people, that would make sense. How I look and how I feel, it's not really looks, how I feel matters to me. And I didn't like, I saw pictures of me. There's pictures of me taken at the events for years. I was looking at these pictures. I'll tell you a little inside thing. There was a picture of me at the vegan mac and cheese cook-off last year, the year before, I can't remember what it was, 2020 or 2019. And I look huge. For me, I was like, I look huge. And I showed it to Steven. I was like, look how horrible I look. And he was like, no, you don't look horrible. Look how thin your neck is. Which is our inside joke now. I was like, my neck is, I was like, shut up. But it's hysterical. But that's how I feel. I finally came around and said, enough. It's not healthy for me to be like that. And I need to do better. I'm much happier now. I bought a treadmill. I'm like much happier. But I'm not going to tell anybody else how they should feel, what they should do. And my journey actually influenced Marla Rose's journey, which was really cool.
Before we get there, Laura, I saw.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my thoughts on this too is, I've battled with weight gain and loss a lot in my life as well. And for me, it hasn't been so much eating badly or too much, it's depression. When I get depressed, I gain weight. If I look at a piece of bread and I'm sad, it goes right to my ass. So that's what happened. And I think a lot of women deal with that. I think a lot of us, our weight gain or how we feel or our bloating or our inflammation, all of these things really are related to our mental state. And I think that's a big issue that nobody really addresses, number one. Number two, what I always told myself too when I was a little bit bigger is like, well, I wish I lived back in the day when big women were wanted, because that meant they had money to eat. They were appreciated. They liked women with a little bit more cush. And honestly, most of the men in my life have appreciated that about me. I will never be rail thin. That will never happen. And I am me, and I am proud of it, and I show it. And, you know, if you don't like it, that's kind of your problem. And I think that's what we as women as society have to kind of get over too, is if you don't like me, then what does that say about you? That doesn't reflect on me. That's your problem. Your problems are not my problems. And that's kind of what Lizzo came out and did. And I appreciate that. And I think that's amazing. So props to her.
That's awesome.
Marla?
Hi. Yeah, I have a few thoughts on the subject. Imagine that. One is that I think it's really important to note that it's not only, you know, a plus-size woman on stage, a plus-size, confident woman, successful woman whose message is about loving yourself. You know, that just, like, if she was on stage and making fun of herself or mocking herself or demeaning herself, people would be like, oh, she's so relatable. But the second a Black woman gets up there and loves how she looks and loves who she is and loves what she does, the second the haters just are filled with, you know, what they do best, which is hating. So I do want to say that I think that that's an essential part of this whole pushback that she gets, is that she's Black and she's confident. And she has achieved a lot, and she's at the top of her game. And it's like, for all the people who are posting nasty comments, just with their judgments and stuff, I'm like, let's see if Lizzo would be happy to change places with you. Have your life, your skinny little life. You think she wants to do that? You think she would give up what she's living now for that? So anyway, so that's one thought. And then the second is, you know, I will post it in the comments, but I wrote a whole article for Veg News a few years ago about fat shaming, and how not only is it unkind, we can probably agree to that. Like, there are people who think, you know, it's tough love or whatever. It's totally it's counterproductive if your goal is to get someone to lose weight. Not that is ever your business. If you're not a medical professional who's asked to help a patient lose weight, it's never your freaking business. That is counterproductive, because shame is not a motivator, and it's isolating. It makes in fact it does it if your goal is to get someone to, you know, gain weight, by all means keep shaming. You know, I don't care what size anyone is, and no one should care what size I am. It's 100% no one's business. And I find it incredibly, you know, bizarre that in this time where so many people are claiming it's no one's business whether they get the vaccine or not, when it is everyone's business, because we live in communities and we are ultimately responsible for one another's health in this regard, that people still don't carry that over to especially women who are not in small bodies. So I find that strange and noteworthy. And then the last thing I'll say is just that, you know, I have lost weight over the last year. And the only time I was ready to do that was when I was ready to do that, and for my own reasons, and it had nothing to do with the gaze, the male gaze, or approval or anything like that. It had everything to do with just wanting to feel better in my body. And that is simply the fact, you know. And in the past, when I've tried to lose weight and it had these other motivations behind it, it has absolutely failed. So anyway, the point is, I am, you know, in the process of losing weight, and it's simply out of self-love. So, and I do not mean at all to imply that anyone who's not losing weight or is in a larger body doesn't love themselves. I'm just saying, in my case, that was what that was. So anyway, I will hand it over to whomever.
Okay. So I just have a couple thoughts. First, about the goals, Helene. For me, I get that. I get the goal thing. My goal would be not focused on food, because I have found that if I am focused on losing weight or, you know, eating super healthy, it it creates this environment that is very unhealthy mentally. And that happens to a lot of people. So when we're focusing on losing weight to feel better, I think that losing weight should be the byproduct of whatever it is we're doing that makes us feel better. So what setting goals with numbers works for Helene and maybe works for other people listening. Don't feel like if you are a person where that is frightening to you, or it feels like it can kind of set off a whole other thing, like setting a goal around weight loss is not the only way that you can take care of yourself. And not that Helene said that, but I just don't want, people to hear that and maybe feel that way about it, because I know that I've heard people say, yeah, I like to set this goal, or just set small goals. 5 pounds, you hit 5 pounds, then you set another goal. And it would kind of set off a thing. And then I have been up and down the yo-yo, like I've lost, 60 pounds, then I gained 70 back. And it's just not, that's worse for your body than just being overweight forever. And then one of Marla's points about people caring what size you are, I love I'm just concerned about your health. No, you're not. You're embarrassed to be out with someone who's fat. Just accept it. Accept that you're part of that toxic culture. If you're willing to tell someone, I'm concerned about your health because they are overweight, you're just feeding into this environment that allows people to feel like shit about themselves for no reason. And I just had, nope, it's gone. All right, Helene, you were first, and then Angela, Yvonne.
So it's interesting because thank you for clarifying that. How I do is not necessarily how everyone else does. I am a goal setting person. So it's called concern trolling. So I'm a goal setting person. So it makes sense that I would set goals for me and want to reach them. Realistic goals. I'm not saying, let me lose 100 pounds and I want to do that in 2 months. No, I mean, I went in 10-pound increments and that was good. And then when I hit each goal, I reevaluated. If however long it took me to get there, I reevaluated and said, where do you want to go now? What do you want to do? My last goal was to gain weight. So it's all good. I'm still happy. And now I'm back to like wanting to lose some weight. It's, we're not talking a lot. We're just talking like it's for me. It's all for me. It's not for Steven. It's not for anyone out there. It's for me. But I'm going to tell you my story about Denny. He's a friend from when I was 18 and I'm 51. And Denny's the reason I have a nickname, which some of you know, some of you probably don't know. You see it if I email you from my phone, it says the email was sent from Leanie. Denny gave me the email because he would go, Leanie, and I would go, Denny. So it's stuck. It's stuck from when I was 18 years old. I love it. It's been amazing. The thing about Dennis. Dennis was 6'5" and 450 pounds. He smoked and he drank a gallon of milk at least a day. And I did have the conversations with him of you need to lose weight because if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. I feel like that's a different conversation because he did die. He died in his 40s. He's the same age as me. I'm 51. He tried. He'd lose like 75 pounds, but he was never going to be small. When you're he was never going to be a small guy. So I think he needed to stop pushing. He needed to stop eating where he was. The doctor told him that he can only do one at once because if he tried to do them both, then he would fail altogether. That was the advice he got from doctors. His parents couldn't do anything, and he died at 40-something years old. I cared enough to say something. I get the trolling part. There's a difference between just going up, just like me saying to Kimberly right now, well, don't you think you want to lose 10 pounds? And they'd be like, fuck off, bitch. No, you don't get to say that to me. I cared enough about him that I wanted him to live a full life. And I wasn't saying anything his doctors weren't, so, and sadly, my friend died. And I don't want that for anybody because of what you consume and what you do with your body. So I just want to address that. Go ahead, Angela, Yvonne.
Okay, so I'll probably say something that might make someone upset. So I'm going to preface that. I follow Lizzo, and I'm a fan of her music. Lizzo is, if you follow her on TikTok, you will see that she eats an enormous amount of food. Like, she eats enough food for, I'll say, about 2 to 3 people on TikTok. And I say that because Lizzo does not want to be fat. Lizzo does not want to live in a fat world. Lizzo is not secure in her body. And that is the reason why I have an issue with Lizzo, because we hear more about her and her weight than we actually hear about her music. Now, I know big women. I know full-size women. And matter of fact, I might be considered one because I'm only 5 foot. I'm 5'3". I'm 183 pounds. I'm in a weight loss program. I go to boot camps. I'm doing all these different things because I want to be fit for my size. But I think that what we don't consider or don't think about is that if you truly wanted to be that size, you would walk in it. You would be authentic in it. Because I have friends and I know people that are of a large size and the confidence is out the roof. I.e., or case in point, remember when Monique was going on her comedy tour? Monique used to be the poster child for big women. She would come out on stage and be like, you skinny bitches aren't hitting on nothing. You need to get like me. I'm going to take your man. Your man wants some of this. She was also one of the #1 BET hosts that did a full-size dance routine in front of Beyonce, two Beyonce's songs. She rocked in her confidence. And that is the issue that I have with the body positive movement. Because I think, and this is just my opinion, that the body positive movement came about from people who didn't want to do the work to a certain degree, but they wanted acceptance for how they chose to be. Now, I understand if you are a person who is overweight because of health reasons. I understand that. I understand if you haven't decided to put forth the effort, because it is hard work. It is, you have to constantly, I won't say constantly, but it's a choice you make. You can either choose to do what it takes to lose the weight, or you can choose not to. But the issue that I have is if you're choosing not to, don't wallow in a delusion or don't wallow in a self-esteem issue, because that's a choice that you chose to do if it's not dealing with health. Now, if a doctor told you that there's no way that you can lose weight, you're doing all the things and stuff like that, I can understand that. But with Lizzo, if Lizzo had a choice to choose, she would choose to be a smaller size, because one, in the industry, they celebrate you being in shape. Another large woman, Queen Latifah, she's a big woman. She will never be skinny, but she's fit for her size. And that's what body positive should be about, being fit for your size, not getting into what society is saying, what's beautiful and what's not beautiful, because everyone has their own choice. But for Lizzo, and in my opinion, she is on this pity tour and wanting people to feel sorry for her. But if you go to her TikTok, like just the other day, she posted a TikTok. She had a burrito this big. She didn't cut it in half. She bit through the middle like a glutton. But then on the same thing, she wants to talk about how people are fat shaming or, not appreciating who she is. I just want people who, whatever size that you are, I want you to stand 10 toes down in it. I want you to be excited about it. If that's what you're choosing to do, be excited about it. But don't get on a stance where you want everyone to accept it, when science, if you want to just do black and white, science will say the heavier you are, the more that your heart has to work or certain organs have to work, and it's not healthy. And that's all that I have to say.
That's a tough one. Sorry, Sankita. That's a tough one because I almost consider that body shaming. Because if she wants to do what she and I actually have no problem with what you said, but I look at it from another point of aren't you shaming her for making the choice to do what she's doing and consuming what she's consuming? If that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. Now I get I just told you about a friend I didn't want to die because of the way he ate. So I'm on the side of no, I would say something because that is not healthy. And that is not what we want to show. Like we don't want young girls to eat like that because that's just going to lead to those young girls, vegan or not, to being very unhealthy.
But if she wants to do that, I'm saying she should stand 10 toes down instead of doing the things that aren't healthy, but then getting on Good Morning America. And it's just like, oh my God, people are just so mean to me. So people then don't show that part of your life. Start talking about your number one hit with Cardi B. Start talking about different things, because that's why I enjoyed Monique so much, because Monique knew she was of a large woman, but she came out, she was dressed, her makeup was phenomenal, she had confidence more than 3 skinny bitches, 3. So that's the only thing that's the issue that I have. I feel that it's a mental game that she's playing with us when she's not doing all that she can do to actually be in the life that she really wants to be in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just think it's important to not glorify being unhealthy. And that's the thing that I have an issue with, and I agree with you, Angela, is that is kind of what she's doing. And I don't think that's body shaming. That's just, pointing out the obvious. You don't eat a 5-pound burrito and be like, oh, I'm healthy and okay with myself. I mean, that's not kind of how it works. And I think that you're right with young girls, to the point made earlier, that's a big problem.
Oops, that might have been me. I'm not sure. I might have hit something. I'm not sure.
Oh, no worries.
We were all still here.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Well, Sangeeta had her utensil up first, but yeah, then we can go to you, Marla.
Marla, you go first.
Oh, okay. If I must. First of all, I should say I don't know Lizzo that well. Like, I don't follow her social media. I don't follow anyone's social media, so like I don't know exactly the ins and outs of everything. But the impression I've always gotten is that this is a confident woman dealing with a lot of bigoted, small-minded pushback. So I do understand your point in the sense of like, you are a musical artist. You're not here to advocate for fat people or whatever it is that. So on the other hand, don't, the different media companies they pigeonhole you and make you talk about like she's always got to stay relevant. She's always got to, so a lot of times the food posts and the ones where she's showing her body in ways that usually people in smaller bodies would be, encouraged to do. It seems to me like, and again, not an expert on Lizzo, but it seems to me she's just living her life and getting, pushback about it. And I feel like she's a very good person for women, especially in larger bodies, to have as, someone advocating on their behalf. Just because she is in the public view in that way. The other thing I was going to say real quick is I do have to say, and this is something Helene and I have messaged about before, that, I think that there is a lack of sometimes, not all the time, but like a lack of honesty and full transparency in the body shaming movement about the consequences of being being at a weight that is not comfortable at your size, your dimensions. I know myself, when I lost weight, things that were hurting stopped hurting, and I do think that it is 100% not my business what anyone's size is, but I do feel like there is this lack of honesty around certain aspects of being at different sizes. And I guess that's the only way I can say that, is just, myself at my size and myself 39 pounds more, not that I'm counting, it just feels different. I don't think it's all simply society's expectations or anything like that. I do know that my feet hurt less and stuff like that. And again, this is nobody's business but mine. So anyway, that's all I'll say.
Awesome on the 39. So proud of you.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah. So coming from India, I have to say that fat shaming is not the only body shaming. And I can't let this opportunity pass without mentioning that in countries like India, there is a lack of skin tone shaming. Like if you have a dark skin, boys and girls are bullied, and they feel inferior compared to their light-skinned friends. And that has a lifelong impact on them. It affects who they marry. Sometimes it might affect the kind of jobs they get. And I think that, and also like here, you see the industry, that weight loss industry. In India, there is a lighter skin industry like this. Lots of products that claim to make you fair. And there was a brand called Fair and Lovely, and they make a huge amount of profit. Like it's unbelievable amount of profits they make by selling not just your face, but they brought something that would lighten the color of your vagina. And
What?
yes, yes. And they say that there was a demand for it. And
How many shades? Couldn't help it.
He said, how many shades?
I should. How many shades lighter is the vagina?
50 shades, Celine. 50 shades.
Perfect, Marla. Perfect.
Yeah. But then finally, after the George Floyd incidents, they somehow thought what they were doing may not be right, or maybe they just wanted to be politically correct, and they have removed the word fair from their brand. So this is a phenomena. Like I could not pass up the opportunity to point and raise the issue. Black is beautiful, brown is beautiful. Whatever your skin color, it's just beautiful. Just accept it.
And that's all of you, she means. You have to accept it because we accept it.
Yeah, like whoever thinks that they're not as pretty because they are dark skinned, that's not true at all.
It's true.
It isn't.
No, it's not. It's not.
But the reason why people, and I'll interject because you're talking about dark skin. I'm the darkest one on the panel. I'm darker than you, Sangeeta. So I got one. But it stemmed from slavery. And what people don't understand is that there was a psychological war, because to divide us made us weak, and to give the illusion of being light skinned was more of saying that you were from, the master's blood, and the master's blood, because at that time, you think white is right or white is better, but everything comes from a dark skinned person. Like all of us, it's been proven, but we still keep the momentum going, because in society, just like with fat shaming or body shaming, someone who probably isn't skinny, someone who probably is dark skinned, decided one day on a Monday to say, being big and being dark ain't the business. So I'm going to tell everyone that it's horrible. And we as humans, we don't never research for ourselves. We just go on hearsay. But now in 2021, we're realizing that the things that we once believed were just words. And we're finding out now that they were lies.
It's happening right before our eyes, Angela Yvonne. It's like we're watching this play out with a pandemic. We're watching people hear words and not really think about what those words even mean. They just consume them and spit them out on social media or to other people in person. And where's the logical thinking? Where's the take that to the next logical conclusion of what you're saying?
But we're wanting to know that so bad that we're willing to listen and to digest it and make it Bible. But if you really pay attention and what we call woke, if you really pay attention, the truth is right there in front of your eyes. And it just depends on what level of awakening that you have in order for you to be able to find what the real truth is. And I think that what the issue is that people really don't want to know what the truth is, because once you find out the truth, it makes you responsible for what you did prior to that, and it makes you responsible for what you did going forward.
Where is the bell to ring? We just need to ring this gong bell, whatever it is, because that's 100%.
I mean, I think that women talking about weight and women talking about hair are things that we can talk for an infinity about.
Because it's somebody who was bald-headed who said that the hair should be this way. And it's somebody, I think it came from someone who wanted those things.
Yeah, it's society
because they wanted it so bad, it became an imaginary world, and it seemed so real that it gave them some kind of confidence that they were able to portray a certain behavior that the people who didn't know any better were like, oh, there's something different about you. What is it? Oh, I got long hair. Or, oh, I'm light skinned. So that's what makes me poppin'.
Right. And when there is money to be had and insecurities to prey upon, that's the perfect storm for capitalism.
Insecurity makes the rich richer.
And that's all it does. It doesn't make people smarter. It makes people dumber or happier. You just create. I'm not going to respond to that one.
Watch episode 1.
I don't know. Sis Les,
are you guys vegan?
Yeah, Sis Les asked if we are vegan. Yeah, I'm like,
it says vegan stew.
It's in the title. It's all over. But that's doing? Okay. Yeah. So thank
Laura,
you.
did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, really quick to everyone's point is body shaming is so much more than just weight. It's how you look. I mean, look at that woman that looks like a Barbie. Like she wanted to look like a Barbie doll, and she looks just like plastic surgery gone wrong. We have Restylane, and we have
or the
Botox.
one who wants to look like a cat.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. Exactly. And the Ken doll guy with the huge lips, it looks like a blowfish. Like there are all these things that these people do to their facade because of this unrealistic society standard that we set. And that is what, oh my God, this guy. Yes. Watch episode 1, dude. So it's just, it really irks me that we just can't be accepting as a society. I mean, and to the weight thing, I mean, I haven't weighed myself in a decade. You know why? Because my weight doesn't matter. It's how I look and how I feel. And if I like how I look and I'm feeling good, I don't need to know what my weight is. Listen, muscle weighs more than fat. So, and that's what I continue to tell myself. So that all being said, that's my 2 cents for the day.
I think that's a really healthy attitude, honestly,
Thank you.
because
Yeah.
that is what it's all about, is how you feel. And when you, I mean, it can take a lot of work to divorce yourself from other people's attitudes. Some people have very pushy parents or in-laws or whatever it is. Additionally, in addition to like comments from randos online. So it can be hard to, really know that you're doing things for yourself. But when you're,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
when you're
also
yeah.
also about aging, everyone wants to look young, and then there is an industry around that to make you look young, but you're gonna age.
It's
I
weird
think
to
we might
age.
have to do a part 2 about this.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's just aging is like the strangest thing ever.
Sangeeta's telling us we're going to age, and Helene kicked it off by telling us we're all going to lose weight when we die. So good times.
I'm 185. Vegan life. Try it.
Okay.
There's one second, Kimberly.
Yeah.
There's one story I wanted to share, and it's from Andy from Compassion Company, because I bring Andy and JL Fields would come to the festivals and they would do a body shaming panel. And there's a story that Andy shared in New Jersey, actually, at Kendra Marissa's festival, the first New Jersey Veg Fest at the Meadowlands, that I emceed in this panel. And Andy got up there and he was talking about, because if you don't know Andy, go look at Compassion Company, compassionco.com, I think it is, compassioncompany.com. And Andy is not a smaller guy, and he sells shirts, sells awesome vegan shirts. If you've ever seen the shirt, anything you can eat, I can eat vegan, that is his shirt. And he's had different iterations of it as he's updated as the years have gone by. But he shared that a woman came to his booth to buy a shirt, and she asked about a certain size. And I think it was like maybe a large. And he was like, well, I don't have a size. I don't have a large in that, but I have like an extra large in that. And she said, oh no, I'd rather die than wear that size. And Andy was like, so in his mind, you'd rather die than look like me. Now, she didn't mean to say that. I don't even need to be there to know that that's not what she meant. She was talking for her. But we all need to be careful of our words and what we say to people when we're referring to ourselves, because how it's received may not be received as well as you think it should or could, or you might not even think it's going to be received in any manner because you're just talking about yourself. However, that woman made him feel like, so you don't want to look like me. And that's not cool. That is something we all need to be conscious of. So Kimberly, back to you.
Thank you. Right. Well, I think that's a good place to end. Thank you.
But can I say we got our first troll tonight?
Yes. Oh. Well, I'm glad he can have his freedom of speech.
Yeah, good for him.
And we can hit block.
Good
Sorry. This is our time. This is our show. We decide who can be on it.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So I will move everyone out and we will close out the show. So thank you, as always, for having wonderful opinions and sharing them with all of us. I did want to just say one thing, is that from my perspective, I am not encouraging people to stay at a size that their doctor says they shouldn't be. My feeling is just that we should stop making people feel like they aren't people. And no matter what they look like, no matter how light or dark their skin is, no matter how big or small they are, whether they're blonde or black haired, whatever it is, we are still all people. And it is astounding to me that with all of the movements that have been, that there's still such that to talk about someone's body is still so accepted. And I just think that I'd like everyone watching to just kind of take that away and consider that next time you're having a thought about the way someone else looks. So with that, thank you all for being with us tonight. I thought we had a lovely, lively conversation. As always, it was amazing. And we will be back next week. I forgot the topic, but we'll post about it and then you'll know. And okay, so we'll close it out. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor for me to be here and do this work. Excellent. Challenges of remaining and being vegan. So we'll see you next week. Thank you all. Bye.